Where you going, General?
Following in the footsteps of other great military leaders like General Tso and Colonel Sanders, Cap'n made himself a fortune in the food business. But despite the brand's storied history and dedicated fan base, even the captain's biggest supporters are willing to admit that his cereal is murder on the roof of your mouth.
That's blood!
So why are we all okay with it? Well, today we're going to take a look at how Cap'n Crunch gets away with destroying your mouth. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. After that, please leave a comment and let us know what other breakfast cereals you would like to hear about. Okay, it's crunch time.
The crunch always gives you away.
Okay, cards on the table, there is no Cap'n Crunch. Hopefully no young children are watching this. He's just a fictional advertising mascot drummed up by the Quaker Oats Company to sell cereal to kids. Quaker, as we know it, was technically founded in 1901, but the name actually goes back to 1877, when the Quaker Mill Company was founded by an Ohio man named Henry Parsons Crowell. In 1891, Crowell partnered up with millers Robert Stewart and Ferdinand Schumacher to form the American Cereal Company. But after some corporate infighting, they kicked Schumacher out and changed the name of the operation to the Quaker Oats Company. The company was already producing oat and wheat cereals by this point, but Cap'n Crunch wouldn't come around till 1963. The Cap'n story actually starts in 1960, when Quaker gave kids a survey asking about their favorite snacks, and learned that kids under 10 vastly preferred crunchy foods. The company set out to cash in by creating the ultimate crunchy breakfast cereal. The cereal itself was designed by a team led by Quaker executive Bob Reinhart, who would also later contribute to the creation of Life cereal, made from a sweetened combination of corn and oats. Pieces of Cap'n Crunch were yellow in color and shaped something like rectangular pillows. The cereal was also one of the first to deliver its flavor through an oil coating. That unique flavor was created by a professional flavorist named Pamela Lowe. According to her, the taste of Cap'n Crunch was intended to mimic a particular mixture of brown sugar and butter her grandmother used to serve her over rice. Lowe, who eventually came to be known as the mother of Cap'n Crunch, believed the flavor gave cereal a quality she referred to as want more-ishness. And considering people have wanted more for the last 63 years, it's hard to argue with her. Of course, Quaker understood that the look and taste of the cereal wasn't nearly as important as how it would be marketed, so they hired a marketing firm to design them a mascot. It was such a big deal, the company spent 80% of its budget just developing the mascot, but what they got was worth every penny. When it comes to breakfast cereal mascots, Quaker was a trailblazer. In fact, as far as anyone could tell, Quaker's own mascot, that old guy in the flat, wide-awake hat, is the first breakfast cereal mascot ever. He was trademarked in 1877 and first appeared on a cereal box the following year. And while 150-year-old portraits of Quakers always make fantastic mascots, the 20th century saw breakfast cereals increasingly using animated characters as mascots instead. Rice Krispies, for example, introduced pitchmen Snap, Crackle, and Pop way back in 1933, and Tony the Tiger started hawking Frosted Flakes in 1952. We did a whole episode about him. To create the mascot for their new cereal, Quaker turned to veteran television writer Alan Burns, who is the co-creator of hit sitcoms The Munsters and The Mary Tyler Moore Show. But by the time Captain Horatio Magellan Crunch sailed onto the scene in 1963,
All hands on deck!
breakfast cereal mascots were already kinda tired. However, Saturday morning cartoons were brand new and hugely popular with children. One of the most popular was Rocky and Bullwinkle, created by Jay Ward. Looking to make sure their mascot would resonate with children as strongly as those characters, Quaker went right to the source and asked Ward himself to produce the commercials for their new cereal. Ward agreed, and he made the commercials in the same style as Rocky and Bullwinkle. And thanks to Ward, Cap'n Crunch wasn't just a mascot. He was a fully realized cartoon character with a backstory and a nemesis and everything. Crunch, whose ship is called the Guppy, was born on Crunch Island, which is a magical island located in the Sea of Milk. His first mate is a dog named Sea Dog. His crew are 4 kids named Alfie, Dave, Brunhilde, and Carlisle. And his archenemy is Jean Lafoot, a pirate character who was so popular in the 1970s, he got his own cereal called Jean Lafoot Cinnamon Crunch. It kinda sounds like the cereal tastes like feet. Cinnamon feet. The continuing adventures of Crunch and his supporting cast unfolded in the series of commercials, as well as comic strips printed right on the cereal box, which always contained a toy. Kids were defenseless against it. Cap'n Crunch was successful right from its launch, and soon enough, Quaker went looking to expand the line. The first variant was called Cap'n Crunch's Crunch Berries, and it hit supermarket shelves as early as 1967. It was the same yellow rectangles you found in regular Cap'n Crunch, but mixed in with round red berry flavored pieces. Quaker was so into Crunch Berry cereal, they even gave it its own mascot, the Crunch Berry Beast. Also created by Jay Ward, the Beast is a weird anthropomorphic spotted yellow creature with a shock of red hair who lives on Crunchberry Island and is occasionally depicted riding a unicycle. These days, the Crunch Berries themselves come in red, green, purple, and blue, but don't get too excited, they all taste the same. The Crunch Berry spinoff was apparently popular enough for Quaker to try their luck on Peanut Butter Crunch, which dropped in 1969. Peanut Butter Crunch ditched the yellow pieces and replaced them with peanut butter flavored corn puffs, and like its two predecessors, it got its own Jay Ward designed mascot, Smedley the Elephant. Following its debut, Peanut Butter Crunch quickly became the most popular cereal of the line for a time. The early 70s saw the introductions of 3 new members of the Crunch family: Punch Crunch, Vanilla Crunch, and the aforementioned Jean Lafoote's Cinnamon Crunch, but these were all eventually lost at sea. In the years since, there have been way too many variations to name here, but some of the more memorable ones include Deep Sea Crunch, Galactic Crunch, Home Run Crunch, Neutron Berries, Mystery Volcano Crunch, Polar Crunch, and most recently, Sea Berry Crunch. If you've ever eaten Cap'n Crunch, then you've probably noticed that it's a bit like putting a tiny Wolverine in your mouth. The Marvel Comics character, not the animal. The problem is so pervasive that in 1999, the famous satirical newspaper The Onion ran a story titled "Roof of Mouth in Serious Condition Following Cap'n Crunch Consumption." In the following year, the hit animated comedy Family Guy depicted the Cap'n putting a hit on Count Chocula for spreading mouth shredding about his cereal. But we've all felt the sting of a sip of orange juice on our freshly crunched gums. And although it is among the worst offenders, it's not just his flagship cereal that does it. Every variation of Cap'n Crunch has a similar reputation, to some extent of another, from Crunch Berries to Peanut Butter Crunch to Canuck Crunch, a recent variation only available in Canada. So the big question is, why do we all love the Captain so much if his cereal keel hauls the roof of our mouths? And why the hell do they keep making it that way? Well, to answer the second question first, just look at the name, Crunch. Long story short, each and every piece of Cap'n Crunch is coated in an additive that's designed to keep it from getting soggy in milk. And sure, Cap'n Crunch is far from the only breakfast brand to use this type of coating. But the Captain's booty has a unique shape among cereals, a tiny rigid rectangle. So what, you may be asking, with a mouthful of bloody cereal? Well, there's a reason Lucky Charms have rounded edges. Once coated in the anti-sog additive, the corners of each and every piece of Cap'n Crunch act like tiny knives, repeatedly slashing themselves into your palate. That's why some of the brand's variants, which sometimes come in different shapes, aren't always as painful to eat as the original. If you're the patient type, Cap'n Crunch will eventually soften in milk, rendering them much easier on your mouth. But considering breakfast cereal is more or less designed to be wolfed down in front of the television, you're probably not going to wait that long. Now, to answer the first question, have you tried Crunch Berries? These days, Quaker makes 7 varieties of Cap'n Crunch, including the original, Crunch Berries, Peanut Butter Crunch, Cinnamon Crunch, Halloween Crunch, Christmas Crunch, and Oops All Berries. And many of these varieties are commonly found on lists of the best Cap'n Crunch flavors, which is probably why they're still in regular production. Nonetheless, in recent years, the Cap'n ship has slowly been sinking. Once upon a time, cold cereals were a standard part of breakfast for most American families, and in those days, the Cap'n was riding high. In fact, baby boomers collectively consider Cap'n Crunch to be one of their favorite cereals. But times change, and with them, breakfast preferences. Unlike their parents and grandparents, many millennials consider breakfast cereals inconvenient, preferring quicker handheld options like smoothies and breakfast bars. And the problem has only gotten worse over time. These days, CEOs at every major breakfast cereal manufacturer are scrambling to keep their products from drifting into culinary obscurity, and Cap'n Crunch is no exception. As for the Cap'n himself, His naval credentials were called into question in 2013 when a viral image drew attention to the fact that his uniform only bore the 3 stripes of a naval commander rather than the 4 typically sported by a captain. The U.S. Navy themselves weighed in on the controversy, confirming that Cap'n Crunch appears to be wearing the rank of a U.S. Navy commander. A Navy spokesperson playfully added that, oddly, our personnel records do not show a Cap'n Crunch who currently serves or has served in the Navy. But the captain himself responded on social media saying, "I captained the SS Guppy with my crew, which makes me an official captain." That's technically correct, which as we all know, is the best kind of correct. The tongue-in-cheek controversy didn't hurt the success of the Cap'n Crunch Show, a 2013 series of cartoon shorts that featured the Cap'n as a late-night talk show host. Produced in conjunction with Funny or Die, the web series found the Cap'n interviewing guest stars ranging from totally ridiculous fictional celebrities to real-life Hollywood royalty like Burt Reynolds, all while sitting in a giant bowl of milk located on the deck of the Guppy. It's as weird as it sounds, but with the future of cereal somewhat in doubt, he needs to start picking up some side gigs.
Welcome back to the Cap'n Crunch Show!
So what do you think? Are you a fan of Cap'n Crunch? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, check out some of these other weird history food videos.